Hi guys, I'm going to walk you through the News to You lesson for this week. We're reading about the census. So I would like you to please go onto nearpod.com or the Nearpod app on a device, and you're going to put in the code VPXIJ. Again, you're putting in VPXIJ into your Nearpod. So if you're doing it on the computer, it'll look just like this. Now we are coming to the join session screen, so you're going to join by typing your name. Your name is not Miss Megan, that is my name. If you're doing it for another teacher, you may have a different code. Okay, we're reading about the 2020 census. So the census is something that only happens every 10 years. And your family probably got some mail from the Census Bureau to do your census this year. And it just helps us count all the people in the country. So when I'm looking at when it says census, it's counting the people right here. So here's one person, here's 2 and 3. So you have to say how many people live in every house. So I'm going to start reading. 2020 census. A census counts people. The U.S. will have a census in 2020. Now, what does the census count? Let's read again. A census counts people. So what does a census count? We're going to circle people. Now I circled people, you circle people. When you're done circling people, then you hit submit. The census will count every person in the U.S. A government group does each census. This group is called the Census Bureau. Okay, so now what country is the census happening in? Is my question for this page. Where is the census happening? The census will count every person in the U.S. So what country? The U.S. So I circled the U.S. Now I want you to circle the U.S. When you're done, please hit submit. The Census Bureau gathers information. The information is about people in the U.S. The U.S. government uses the information. Now, it's National Puppy Day today, but it's not about puppies. What is the information about? The information is about people. The information is about people in the U.S. So I circled people. I would like you to circle people. When you're done circling people, hit submit. People starts with P. All right. So now I'm thinking, why does the government need to know this? So this is where we find out. The government makes decisions. They make decisions to build schools, hospitals, roads, and more. Okay. So what is one thing that they might decide to build? So you might circle school, hospital, or roads. I'm going to circle school. The question is, what's one thing that the government can decide to build? I circled schools. You could have circled hospitals or roads. They're all right. When you're done circling one thing that the government's making decisions about, hit submit. All right, so what did we read about? We're going to go through each picture. When we just read about the 2020 census, did we read about person? Yeah, they count every single person. So since we read about person, circle person. Did we read about desks? No, there were no desks in the story about the census. So we're crossing out desk. Now, we read the story 2020 census. Did we read about the census? Yes, counting people. We read about the census. Do they count every person? Here's the word every. Do they count every person? Yes, they do. So we're circling every. Now the census, we learned, is to count people. So we know that count was in the story too. And my picture has counting 1, 2, 3. Did we read about a car show today? No, we didn't read about a car show today, so we're going to cross out car show. When you're done, on the page you circled person, census, every, and count, then hit submit. Now, what was this paper about? Was it about the 2020 census, amazing young athletes, or March Madness? I'm not going to say all the answers till the end, so you're making your best guess. What is the paper about? Is it about the 2020 census, amazing young athletes, or March Madness? Number 2, who does the census? The National Weather Service, the National Park Service, or the Census Bureau? Who does the census? Number 3, where will the census count every person? Do they count the people in space, in the ocean, or in the U.S.? All right, so hopefully you circled your answers. I'm going to go through and say the correct answers. What is the paper about? The paper is about the 2020 census. That's what we read about today. Now, who does the census? The Census Bureau works together to do the census, so I circled Census Bureau. And my last question, where will the census count every person? Not in space or the ocean, it's counting the people in the U.S., the United States. When you're done circling the answers, hit submit. Okay, now what would you most like to build? This is your opinion. There's no right answer. A school, a hospital, a road, a skyscraper, which is a very tall building, or something else. I think I would most like to build a hospital right now. Okay, so I circled my answer. Your answer could be different. We're all done. So we're going to have a lot of these words again when we do our math and other work this week to practice those vocabulary words. Thank you so much for learning about the census.